the test server. So what went wrong with the real server? Well, the real server had been on a week and a half, and my dog's about to press the reset button on my PC. Can you go away? Anyway, and one of these sticks of RAM went wrong. Okay, there's 4 in the machine, 4 2GB sticks, and one of them went wrong. I think it's this one. Now, this one is different to the others. This one actually has a printed marker on it that says XC18.01, as in it was made in January 2018. The others are dated differently. They're dated XC0112, so January 2012, and this one is XCB0314, so that's March 2014. But this one was in the first slot, and basically the whole thing got corrupted. Every time I ran a command with sudo or nano or any kind of program, I got a seg fault. I didn't get a seg fault with anything that was sort of directly in the bash kernel thing. So ls, cat, grep, they all sort of worked. Head and tail worked as well. But the moment head and tail went, or cat went through more data than was actually in a certain buffer amount, corruption. We saw the, if you see megalomaniacboard.blogspot.com, my blog, you'll see some pictures of it all corrupted. And so the machine got turned off. It's actually sat right here next to me. It's all fine. The data was rescued. All the characters are here. They're valid. This is the test server. Okay, so, and this has actually got bots re-enabled on it. Let's add. There's my Zealous spot, which is my tank. I'm not going to change the combat orders. I'm just going to get this rare elite over here just to see what he has to offer me. Let's start Pyroblast and let the warrior catch up. Now, I want the warrior to tank for me, but he's not going to right now. He will now, I guess. There he goes. Oh. There we go. Bristle bark. Thingamabob. I'll need that. Give. Oh, he needed it too. You're a cheeky bastard, Mr. Zelos. Cheeky. Yeah, he hasn't equipped it, thank God. So I'm stuck in a very strange place. I want to do some development on the server. So if I exit game, and we go into the code, we'll see this is the Mango space, but it's actually been, I've edited this. You can, if you pull the code, you'll see this is different. I've cleared out all the Windows stuff. There's absolutely no Windows stuff in here at all. There's just Linux stuff. I've added a countdown here just so I can see it count down before it starts. I want to do some bits and bobs there. I've changed tried to remove all these return statements. In fact, that one needs to go. So that return statement needs to go. I don't like code where you go into an entry point and there's like 10 ways out. It's spaghetti code. I like to go into a function and decide where I'm going and perform those actions and exit in one place. And 99 times out of 100, the compiler takes care of all this for you. It does not matter if your code has 10 return points or 1. The compiler works this all out for you and sorts things out, especially optimizing compilers. When you set it to 03 or 04 or 05, whatever you want to set the optimization to, it works fine. You don't notice a difference. But when you're trying to look after code that has 5 exit points, 10 exit points in the same function, it is utter spaghetti. You don't know where your function or what your function is doing. I like to get a value. It makes no difference to your L value and your R value because you have to create, say you're going to return an integer, you have to create that integer at every return point anyway. I would rather allocate and have that one value, work out what it's going to be through the code and return it in one place so I can easily maintain my code than have 10 different places return a different number. And then that lets you go into each subbrace and go, oh, that can actually be functionalized. So I could take this entire function from there to there, and I can put it in a function and go start server function. And it would do the same job as this. We'd just check that the you know, whatever. We could, here this is processing the command line stuff. So if we're not doing a help or a version, we do the actual control of the program, and it's just, it's fine. So this is Zealous's version updated to his coding standard. That's all I'm doing. I am not reinventing the wheel at the moment. I'm just making sure that that all works. And if we now server shutdown 0 and quit that and open a new build environment, we'll see that main will build when we get around to the mangos.d. All these white ones you can see there are actually already built. There you go. So it's only compiling main, which is what we've edited. It's been a little bit slow. I don't know why. It is a virtual machine after all. Start the realm again. Start the server again. Oh, I'm silly. Sudo make install. I actually have to install it. It's installing it to the folders these two pieces are in. But I'm just silliness. So I've made it now. I'm installing it to that folder, which is server/bin instead of mangos/build. There you go. They've copied them. Start the new realm. Start the new mangos. There you go. Zealous's version updated to his coding standards, and there's my countdown that I added as well. It's just to give this countdown is just to give Realm a moment to start up sometimes. So that's just this code that's showing that I'm building just this code, not anyone else's version. What I need to do at some point is set the upstream to be my actual Git server, but my Git server's turned off right now because I'm busy packing up to move house. And so because I'm busy packing up to move house, I've only got so much equipment out, and so I've only got one set of network leads, keyboards and screens to debug the actual real server. So when this problem happened, I had to unplug my Git server to plug in the actual game server. Anyway, the other thing I'm trying to do is work out where bits and bobs happen. So inside the chat stuff, chat handler, I've been looking at all these functions. Stupid dog. Looking at the bits and bobs they do and how they do things. So, you know, I want to work out editing these values a bit better. I want to, I find this being code a little bit odd. I understand what it's trying to do. It's trying to set that these commands can only be changed by this level person, etc., etc., etc. But it had that there's a database behind all this. It should use a database configuration to decide who can change stuff and do things. And I find this quite odd that there's this huge, and it's not small. Look, it's huge. There are 3,500 lines of code, of which let's see. About 1,000, give or take, change. So there's actually a few more after this, but there's 840 there. There's others below. It's about 1,000 lines of code are just the settings that you can change on the fly to do stuff, like saying what your values are or bits and bobs. And this one's quite mixed up. There's a mix of administrator, game master, and moderator stuff. You know, it's, I don't know, it's just a bit odd. Just a bit odd, you know, and I'd like to sort these out so that we could document them a bit better and say what's going on. So, I mean, I didn't even know the player could say the word server, so we'll see what that does. The server's back up right now anyway, so we'll just pop back to Windows. This will open on there. Let's actually see what the .server command does. There is no such command. See, .save is a command. .server motd. Welcome to the test server. .server info. Online players 1, max 1, server uptime 3 minutes 2 seconds. So it does tell you something. But these are all things I want to look at. There's the actual build code, I guess. That's from the file at the start of the program and when it was built. I guess 12:49. It's the wrong date and time. I'm not sure. 22nd of October 2018. I'm not sure what that's all about because you've just seen me edit this code, so I don't know where that date comes from. Anyway. What's my plan with the server then for anything else? Well, I'm going to be following through from where you've just seen me in main, following this run function. Okay, so this is where I'm going to start editing again. I want to go into here. So this is just not to my liking. If it's not empty, create PID file. No, away. The dog is going to press this button so hard in a minute and I'm going to cry. You see, so if the PID is not empty, we create PID file, we actually return, I don't understand what that's trying to do. It's trying to create the process ID. So that's daemon, so we don't even need any of that. So this goes to call start DB. I hate functions that have an underscore in front of them. I hate that. We'll get rid of the daemon stuff because we aren't doing it. We'll get rid of the Win32 stuff. We don't need to worry about any of that because it's all them. Freeze thread. Let's see where three. So that's creating a freeze. Whoosh, I don't like that. So that needs. I don't like that use of that threading at all. I don't like the naked pointer. I don't like that this is creating some other runnable thing. We're not using a lambda, which would be a lot nicer to me. Okay. Why is this in its own stanza of code? Wait for shutdown and let things go out of scope to close them down. I also hate where braces are missed off like that and you're using white space. I mean, I know it's perfectly valid for a single line command with a semicolon to follow an if statement, but I don't like it. I think it makes things awful. And I would rather here. Why has it jumped me to there? Oh, I know why. Don't. My bad. Let me jump back. So we're going to do the freeze at 143, and we're going to go hash include memory. Go to 143, and this is going to be std unique pointer. And it's the freeze thread, not freeze thread, the freeze thread. So that that equates to 1 to start the freeze thread. So an assignment value. See, I don't think that's very maintainable either. So I'd rather do that, and therefore do that. And then these become let's see if that compiles. Server shutdown 0. Quit that. Make. Let's see if that compiles before we do too much more. I don't plan on doing much more on camera today because this isn't the most gripping of video. But it just shows what I'm trying to do. Okay, so we're building master. Oh, sorry, I've just realized that's slightly out of view for you. So we have errors. Expect, oh yeah, there's a semicolon missing. Semicolon there. Let's swap them around for you. That's been really boring video for you. In other news, I broke my camera. If you can see that, but my actual see, smashed. The lens in there has been smashed on my nice Samsung phone, so I'm really disappointed. My Samsung phone's camera has got smashed somehow. Now it had a protector, and the protector just embedded in. The camera still works, but it's incredibly blurry, which is a problem. We can't delete that type, that's correct. So that creates that, that creates that. And what we do is we call destroy, and it's L_freeze thread. And we reset it. I believe that's correct off the top of my head. Oop. Kill you. Start that build again. Candidate expects 0 arguments, 1 provided. So it failed because this Mangos thread type, so this type, which I don't know yet, doesn't take 1 parameter. So we need to do new Mangos thread FDR. Oh, I can. Oh, sorry. Ugh. Let me do that. L freeze thread equals std make unique Mangos thread FDR. Bit of brain freeze. It's quite early in the morning, or rather, I got up quite early this morning. I was up at 10 to 6, doing the horses in the pouring rain and wind. I'm very tired, so I'm going to give up in a minute. Let's take. Oh, that wasn't me. That was definitely the keyboard. At least that's my excuse. Not happy. Make unique is not a member of STD. Really? I'm pretty sure make unique is. std make unique. Yeah. Yeah, so it takes a forward in. There's nothing wrong with that. Unless this isn't being compiled with std 11, 14 or 17 sat in its values. So let's go back to that a second. I think the dogs need a walk as well. They are all over the shop right now. Yeah, okay. So I'd prefer to use standard make unique. Right now we're creating this Mangos thread with whatever it is, like that. Obviously it's for this priority thing. Now I have an issue with any code you're writing having its own priority. I really don't like that. So this shared threading. So there's a runnable instance. See, again, this needs to be edited just so I'm happier with it. Let's go to a view of 2 columns and let's go to that inner header. So the Mangos thread. So first of all, the Mangos runnable is a count of references to the thread. So that's effectively a smart pointer which already exists. So it's reinventing the wheel. Okay, it's using an atomic whatever, but yeah. And then this takes a runnable and so it's just a pointer to a function. It's just a pointer to a function. So what this does is it increments the reference when it's wrapped through. Let's put this here. So it's creating a pointer and the thread impl is the task pointer, and then it decrements the value. Wait is if thread ID, standard thread ID, or not a task, it can't wait. So this is where I like to do my thing. Result false. Actually, we'll do result true. Result equals false. Else, you see, look, no need for that there. Tries to join the function. I find that far more readable. That should be a const reference. I'd probably like that to output whatever that is. So to do output thread impl join failed, and I'd like that on a different line. So basically, if task so if there's not a task, it just quits, but that could leave this thing, the thread impl, running, couldn't it? I have no idea who's driving their car like an idiot out there, but well done for them to being a complete mouth breather. Yeah, I don't like this stuff. I don't like this at all. Standard thread ID. I mean, what's fix me? We need to make sure that all threads can be trusted to halt execution on their own, as this is not an interrupt. No, you've given it a runnable, so your runnable should have some global master kill switch that quits down this, and you should make sure that anything that is in a runnable you monitor in some way. You self, like it says, this isn't an interrupt. There isn't a way of interrupting it. Well, there isn't a way of interrupting a standard thread. You let it run, but you give it code. If you're going to write this runnable, it should be written such that you can interrupt it by programmatically inserting a flag value or a status, or an enum class of something that says quit now. I don't like this very much at all. So if Win32 stuff, it's setting the priority, set thread priority. So it's getting the native handle of the thread and setting, yeah, I don't like that. So there is no priority in Linux. So all that's doing is just asserting true in Windows, in Linux, because it can't do anything. So set priority does nothing on Linux and can be got rid of. There isn't any. Sleep does a proper sleep though, nice to see finally. Though I think this needs to be. Milliseconds. Okay, so thread has no set priority, and that's a const reference milliseconds. Let's point that to lowercase s. Right, so let's find set priorities. Finding files, set priority. So we have one there for the freeze thread, which we don't need anymore. Finding files. So the next one is in realm D. Priority. Set priority class. If that's all there is, so we're affecting a lot of things because we played about with the thread. Doggies, stop it. If you can hear a beep, 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 by the way, it's nothing to worry about. It's my washer has just finished downstairs. And the wife, aka the laundry fairy, she isn't here to do it. I've become a bit of a house husband lately, so I've got to do the laundry while I mourn my broken camera and ponder about my WoW private server. In other news though, I've seen all the fallout from the Diablo, whatever it was, the mobile Diablo game announcement. It's so unmemorable, I don't even remember the name. And I kind of agree. that a mobile game for the Diablo franchise really isn't the primary development path. That shouldn't have been the main focus of any of it. Not when people have been wanting a Diablo 4 for quite a long time. I think. Oi, Max! Max! Stupid dog. He's eating a plastic bag. So I don't think that the die-hard PC fan base that is for most Activision Blizzard game would be up for a mobile game. I mean, adjunct games like Hearthstone would fit for it, but not the main game. This Diablo is a main franchise for them, just like World of Warcraft is a main franchise for them. I don't think they can get away on a main franchise having a mobile game. It can be an also ran, but it can't be the sole focus. And you can kind of see that from the awkwardness and the lack of sort of confidence from the presentation team. They don't expect the lashback they get while they're trying to deal with the outfall of their announcement. So, not a great move. Now, that isn't to say I'm a great fan of Diablo. I'm not. I don't. Diablo 2 is okay, but I'm not ever been a huge fan of the top-down RPG genre. I like Baldur's Gate a bit, but I'm not a huge fan. My favourite, apart from World of Warcraft or the 3D games, I'm currently getting into Elder Scrolls Online as well. But I'm not a huge fan of the top-down stuff. What I like more is the single 2D image, a bit like King's Quest. I really like King's Quest 5. I remember playing that for many hours and talking to the talking willow or the singing willow, whatever he was. I can't remember. I remember playing the Discworld 2D adventure game, a couple of others. I really like those kind of games. Leisure Suit Larry, of course. Okay, we're at 41. You can now see the doggy. It's making all the noise. Max, get off him. Get off him. Hello. Let's go camera. This one is Blue. And Blue has learned that if he puts his head on the top of the computer next to me, he presses the power or reset buttons, which is a really, really, really naughty thing to do. But it means he gets my attention a lot more quickly. Don't you? Don't you? Okay, we're at 48% of this build. Come on, Mama needs a new pair of shoes. 50%. So that's had a big impact, and as you see, nowhere's complaining about it. So there must be a lot of thread use. And the fact that the thread is wrapped in that funny way, with a comment saying, we must fix this, kind of worries me. So all this script dev stuff, so AI script dev, this is all stuff I want to look at soon. I don't wholly agree with the idea that content is programmed in. So thousandneedles.cpp, thunderbluff.cpp, ungorocrator.cpp. Doesn't sit right with me. I think you should load, certainly load a script that controls such things, but the fact that there's actual code there worries me. Coil fan reservoir. Steam Vault. I like the Steam Vault. I didn't like the slave pens very much. Gruul's lair. think I only did Gruul once. I can't remember why. I did it on my Hunter. I did him once, and I think the Hunter got a pair of trousers, and I didn't go again. I wasn't that impressed. I had this idea that it would be a big deal, a bit like going to Onyx's lair would be. And when we got there, I think the only mechanic that annoyed me was the stuff falling from the ceiling. It's just basically a Burnham tank and burn style fight. I don't remember there being anything special in there. It wasn't a challenge. So Gruul upset me. Favorite instance of all time has to be Dire Maul. I really, really, really like Dire Maul. Tribute run, good fun. Soloing it, good fun. I always enjoyed the differences between the wings. I mean, the was it the garden wing or the botanic wing? Really like that. I like getting to the sneaking around the back to the library. I thought it was a really nice and distant thing. It was a real adventure getting there. You know, you set off from, say, Ironforge and fly down to Menethil and take the boat and then fly out to Fellwood or sorry, to end of the Thousand Needles there, I think that's the name of it, and go up into the forests and, you know, try and avoid the Horde camp if you were Alliance, and so it was really good fun. The other way I got there was going across to Oberdeen and flew down to Ferrelas. What was the name of the town in Ferrelas? I forget the name. It's always good fun. I remember as well taking our druid friends down there to try and get their sprite darter pets and things, and just all sorts of funny things. I like Ferrelas. It was a proper adventure. You'd come out of Desolus and then there was Ferrelas. It's this mystery thing, this like weird mix of Ungoro but with bigger trees. It was really nice. 81% folks, and I'm tired now. Come on, I've got to go and walk the dogs. I didn't expect this to have such a knock-on effect, to be honest. I thought it would affect the server main, and I thought it would affect the realm main. I thought it would affect a couple of other places, but not nearly every single entity and every single zone and every single thing. Well, this is the mail handler, the LFG handler. These are all things I need to get to grips with. Motion detectors. Actually, I need to look at the fleeing movement generator, because the fleeing, when they're fleeing, they can still hit you. You can be behind them. They're running away from you, and they'll still be taking auto attacks at you. They can't cast, but they can auto attack. Not very fair. There's the player bots. %. There's a warning there. Oh, that's where I've been playing about with some of the values. I've updated some of the player bot manager stuff to my coding standard, and that needs to have an extra piece around it. So there are 2 brackets there, but I think there's a 3rd required for the parent bracket. But it's okay because it's in an initializer list. There we go, linking the game, building Mangos. Mangos, Master CPP 127. Mangos, Master CPP 127 has a set priority. Just there. Set priority. Here we we go. Please only build the Mangos master run. So I did a find in files. I did a capital S. My bad. There you go, it's built it now. Okay, sudo make install. Oh, didn't want to do that again. Starting the Mangos. Starting the realm. It's taking its time. There we go. Well, it's up. There we go. So changing that threading and removing those bits doesn't seem to have had any immediately negative effect. There's the player bot. It's fine. So that's where I leave this little video today. I think it's been about half an hour. 42 minutes, there you go, it's a big one for you. We need to do some actual development stuff. I will be planning on doing more of these things as I learn stuff and documenting stuff and showing bits and bobs I'm doing. I may even have to republish some of my coding standard that I aim for onto my blog so you guys can see what I'm aiming for. But you can see it's basically removing, you know, useless bits, understanding stuff that's here. I mean, this is a raw pointer. I don't like this being a raw pointer. I mean, it's a constant pointer, but I don't know if that's the right type. I wonder if, in fact, that should be const pointer to const runnable. But leave it like that for now. I also don't like that this is basically overloading standard thread. It's the underlying implementation of thread when you just think, well, what's thread impl doing? I mean, this should go if thread impl dot joinable for safety rather than just try catch all the things. Anyway, I'll leave this here, guys. I hope to see you all soon. And there's been a fair few of you joined the channel, so hello. Welcome to you all. If you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button. If nothing else, just hit the subscribe button. I'm still on my march to 1,000 users. We are just under a third of the way there now, since I got demonetized and shafted by YouTube. So come on, let's stick it one for Google. And I hope to see you all soon. Bye-bye.